Monsters infiltrated the world, causing it to succumb to despair. People fought until their last breath to safeguard the place they called home. Among those brave souls was the protagonist of this story, Carcelian Levandayan, who fought against the menace just as viciously. Many years passed with him battling countless monsters, relentlessly piling up dead bodies with the only blade he had, and not an ounce of fear in his heart. Then finally, a day came when he fought Aaron's brother from another mother. That bastard was one tough nut to crack. The battle was brutal, but he eventually took down the piece of shit. In the aftermath of the battle, he too succumbed to death. But fate had other plans. With his soul drifting through this endless void, he met a human boy hailing from some planet known as Earth. The boy's name was Seo Dojin, who was on the brink of death for some unknown reason. Before dying, he wanted to make a simple request to Vandayan, who immediately refused even before listening to what this boy wanted to say. After all, bro just wanted to die peacefully. He was done with all the shit. He lost his country to the monsters, lost his loved ones, and eventually died a dog's death. While this boy Seo Dojin didn't really want to live either, he desperately wanted his family to have a good life. Well, it seems like Vandayan is finally ready to listen to this dude's request. The boy lights up like a kid in a candy store and musters up the courage to say he wants his family to live peacefully. And so, our boy gladly takes on the job to protect this boy's family, and finds himself on Earth. Now rocking the body of that teenage boy Dojin, our guy is on a mission to infiltrate Namsan Gate, which is ranked C for obvious reasons. Only registered heroes are allowed to enter, so the automated machine keeps blaring at him to scan his ID card, which our guy obviously doesn't have. He simply crashes through the guarded and authorized building to enter the gate, triggering the security alarm blaring about the infiltration. Once inside, he starts walking around trying to find monsters to smash. That's when he stumbles across a party of heroes, folks who have official licenses and permission to be there. They assume our boy is someone who got lost and offer to show him the way out, especially since they're heading for the exit too. Dojin stays silent, giving off a weird vibe. Even these heroes can tell something's off. He's wearing casual clothes and doesn't look like a hero at all. Sure, porters nowadays dress more casually, but our boy's outfit is way too simple for its own good. And what's up with that bag on his back? For all they know, he's probably just a clueless porter who got abandoned by the party he originally came with. Then again, they're not so sure. Dojin finally speaks up, acknowledging why they're feeling super skeptical, but makes it clear he came here on his own without any hero's party. Hearing this, one of the heroes sighs, understanding the reason behind our boy's presence. He has seen plenty of cases where people catch a hard boner to become a hero and hunt monsters after watching some flashy TV commercials. But that burst of motivation can get someone killed real fast if they barge into gates recklessly without going through legal procedures. First, you need to get officially certified as a hero. Then you go through training and testing. Not to mention, this gate is C rank for a reason. If you're a rookie just starting your career, you better go find an F rank gate before you lose your life for real. After listening to this dude yapping and generously handing out advice no one asked for, Dojin makes it abundantly clear he doesn't need shit. Naturally, the crew of heroes is bewildered by this kid clapping back with such a cold tone. After all, they were just trying to help. So they get a bit pissed, but the leader tells his comrades to hold their horses. If the guy doesn't want help, then fine, leave him be. The leader is confident this kid will eventually learn the hard way why you don't cover your ears when someone wise is talking. They hope he finds out just how unforgiving these gates are, unlike the TV shows that glamorize being a hero like it's the second coming of Christ. Soon enough, Dojin finally comes across a giant troll staring him down, ready to eat him alive. The monster unleashes an attack, only to miss and hit the ground. Bro moved so fast the troll couldn't even process what the hell happened. Then he balls up his fist and delivers a devastating punch, hard enough to blow the orc's face clean off. It's basically something out of One Punch Man, or Omni-Man on a killing spree. Now that the monster's out of the picture, here comes the juicy part. Time to loot, baby. First, he grabs the sword that bastard was carrying. Then he uses that same sword to dig further into the monster's body and extracts a shiny gemstone. It's actually a low-grade magic stone, so insignificant that Dojin never even bothered with them before in his previous life. But since he's broke right now, he's got no choice. Suddenly more monsters swarm the area, pissed after seeing their buddy decapitated. Dojin turns around and chucks the gemstone so fast it literally blows one of their heads clean off. The other two dumbasses charge in like they've got some death wish they want fulfilled. Well, Dojin's more than happy to grant it. While he's wreaking havoc, we cut back to the crew of heroes trudging through this monster-infested territory. Currently, their minds are still stuck on the encounter they had with that young man. The orange-haired woman is actually worried about Dojin's well-being, fearing he might end up dead. But the leader of the pack assures her that's highly unlikely. If he is some unauthorized guy who barged into the gate, agents from the control center will find him soon enough. Those agents on missions are always B rank or above. And since this gate is C rank, there's no way in hell he's dying here. As long as the kid steers clear of recklessly rushing at monsters, he's got no chance of losing his life. The Baldy agrees with his leader's assessment. He's pretty sure the arrogant brat must be trembling in fear, waiting for the agents to save his ass from doom. Well, the story is pretty much the opposite. It's our guy who's literally making these plus-sized sandbags shake in fear. One punch and the prey is down. He's so fast they can't even touch him, let alone crush him under the weight of their blades. He appears right behind one of the dumbasses and delivers a kick so hard it demolishes the guy's head. With all the suckers down, he grabs one of their swords and proceeds to harvest the sweet magic stones all for himself. After a while, he's done stuffing his bag and ready to leave. Though honestly, he's pretty disappointed with today's grind. It's basically dead weight in his bag, all those low-grade gems. Right then, one of the agent guys finally spots him and calls out to his buddies. Before our guy can fully turn, those suited men give him a tough stare down. First, they explain they're from the gate control center and suggest he show his hero registration card. If he's unregistered, he has to come to the control center with them. Our guy isn't sure about that, which makes the suited dude tense up even more and get colder, insisting he cooperate and follow the proper procedures. The only response the suits get is annoyance etched all over our guy's face, and all this unnecessary drama killing his mood. Then again, bro ain't got the energy to argue. He just turns to leave. Since words aren't working, the suits threaten handcuffs if he refuses to comply. Physical force may be used if necessary. One of the more impatient ones dares to grab our guy's hand and threatens him with the injuries he'll sustain if he refuses to cooperate. What's worse, all responsibility will be on his shoulders. So it's everyone's best interest to solve things with words, not violence. Seems like Dojin's done with all the yapping, so he grabs that bastard's hand back and warns him to stop sticking out like a thorn in his path. This chilling warning makes the poor suit guy instinctively scared. A chill runs down his spine. The other two bastards pull out their magic-infused batons. They're actually grade 4 magic staffs, powerful enough to subdue an orc. But they don't have enough power to hurt our guy physically. So he aggressively twists the bastard's hand, making him whine like the whiny bitch he is. Bro then issues a final warning. They better leave now if they don't want to lose the last shred of dignity they have left. Eventually, duty-bound suits are forced to retaliate with violence. They try their best to tag our guy with the magic staffs, but none succeed. Our guy delivers a crushing blow right into the back of one bastard, then hits another in the belly. Next, he focuses on the guy in glasses, the last man standing. The last dude senses what's coming and gets tense. Dojin blurs away, vanishing into thin air, causing the bastard to panic at literally seeing a man disappear. Then, out of nowhere, comes a sneaky punch right into the gut, making the bastard stagger backward in pain. Seems like Dojin is tired of all the bullshit and agents chasing him, so he finally starts thinking about registering as a hero after all. The agent assures him that as long as he avoids shady or illegal stuff, no agents will be out hunting him. Dojin then questions this thing called a rift, a question that completely throws the agent off. Quick context on how this world operates. There are multiple passages connecting to another world where strange monsters live. These passages are scattered across the world. The gemstones harvested from monster corpses are used as new energy sources, making them highly coveted. Because of this, the government oversees these passages to maintain full control over each one. Every government-controlled and open passage for heroes is called a gate. Passages that aren't controlled or enclosed are known as rifts. Back to our boy, who finds it ridiculously annoying that these suits follow him everywhere, accusing him of trespassing no matter which gate he passes through. The poor agent explains that if an unregistered hero enters a gate without permission, the control center is automatically notified, and agents waiting nearby are dispatched immediately. Since our guy is thinking about entering a rift, the agent makes it clear these aren't as easy to access as any gate. Trespassing into a rift results in a strict punishment, no warnings, no plea deals. Dojin isn't interested in hearing any of that, so he grabs the poor guy by the face and throws him aside like a trash bag. By now, the poor agent regrets not calling headquarters. This shit's way over his pay grade. Before leaving, Dojin takes one last glance at the trash agent lying there, thinking about what a weakling this dude actually is. The weakling seems to have a fractured arm and is busy shouting threats, promising to catch our boy and put him behind bars. The scene transitions to Seoul, Gas and Digital Complex in Gyeongcheon District. This giant building is now known as the Hero Complex. Here, all trades related to magic stones or anything found in the gates go down. And nowadays, this place is busier than ever. Dojin can be seen heading toward one of the stores that deals in buying and selling magic stones. Upon entering, he's greeted by this Gen Z bastard, busy scrolling through brain-rotting Insta-reels. When Dojin says he wants to sell some magic stones, the cunning shop owner immediately starts preaching about his business, claiming this branch offers the highest prices to their clients. He even goes as far as saying they're the best in the whole country. Dojin finally puts all the low-grade gems smeared in monster blood on the counter, causing the store owner to put on this sour expression like he just got boned from behind. He's seriously grossed out by all the blood stuck to the stones. Regardless, he doesn't complain and moves forward with the transaction. Dojin is asked if he wants some coffee while the stones are being processed. A little while later, he is sipping coffee while the shop owner carefully cleans the blood off the stones. Afterwards, the owner calculates the total amount due. There are 12 low-grade magic stones, 16 medium-grade ones, plus 5 upper and lower-grade stones as well. After deducting a 40% commission, Dojin is set to receive around 5.5 million won. Well, our boy isn't too comfortable handing over 40% as commission. It just feels unfair because he did all the hunting and wasted his time. So how the hell does this bastard think he's entitled to nearly half the money? The shop owner proudly claims he's being generous, charging only 40%. Especially since every competitor in this business charges 45% or more. He's so confident that he even offers Dojin to take his stones back if he doesn't like the price. After all, no one else will offer more, or at least that's what this bastard claims. Our guy ain't falling for that trap and starts stuffing his precious stones back into his bag. Seeing his tricks aren't working, the bastard grabs Dojin's hand before he leaves and demands compensation for the appraisal and the coffee he drank. It's 30,000 won for the appraisal plus an extra 10,000 for the coffee. Not to mention, all the blood he had to wipe off ruined his expensive towel. With everything added up, Dojin supposedly owes the guy around 350,000 won. Dojun isn't giving in to these unreasonable demands, no matter how hard this crazy bastard pushes. Seeing nothing's working, the bastard stoops to street-level tactics and threatens Dojin with the C-class heroes he has as his guards. Right then, those big guys barge in through the back door, asking why they were called. If anyone's causing trouble, they're ready to deal with them. Dojin in response shoots a sharp glare at the bastard, who stares right back with the same intensity. A while passes, and the scene cuts to the terrified, sweaty face of the shop owner, who had been acting cocky like he was the main character. But he got a reality check when Dojin took down his 3 pigs, without breaking a sweat, making it clear who the real MC is. My guy then walks up to the counter and smoothly negotiates the commission down to 1%, no questions asked. We all know there's no arguing when someone like Dojin is staring straight into your soul like that. So the deal goes through, and Dojin walks out with a fat stack of cash for the haul he collected with his sweat, or rather, his fists. His grandma and sister are both in total awe at the huge amount of money. Grandma even suspects Dojin is pulling a fast one with fake bills. But the guy quickly clears that up, saying the money came from lending cash to a friend who started a business that ended up doing really well. Grandma isn't sure if her grandson even has a friend like that. He tries to convince Grandma with another lie that it was a childhood friend. Eventually, Grandma stops asking questions, at least the big ones. Meanwhile, Dojin's sister is super proud of her big brother for making their family rich. The doting brother pats her and gives her hope about the luxury life they'll be living from now on. The little girl just jumps around happy to be rich. Watching her so happy, Dojin realizes he's actually making progress fulfilling a promise he once made. He remembers the words of the owner of the body he's possessing, whose one dying wish was for his grandma and his half-sister Yoon to live safe and happy lives. That poor guy disappeared right before Dojin could say anything, and when he woke up, he had become Seo Dojin. Now his only mission is to make sure this little family lives safely and comfortably. For that, he wants to buy the safest house in Korea, which currently costs 110 billion won. For him, making money won't be an issue as long as he gets his original strength back. This world shares a lot of similarities with the one he came from, the one that was destroyed. The only big difference is that rifts, gates, monsters here are all marginally weaker than the world he once saw fall. To him, who held the title of Sword God in his previous life, this place is nothing but a sandbox. So far, he's only been fighting at 1/10 of his original power. Suddenly, there's a knock on the door, and the visitor says he wants to see Seo Dojin. Bro stands up and decides to answer. As he opens the door, he finds 2 thugs standing outside. These guys are here to claim a debt Dojin owes, an insane 48 million won. Seeing this, Dojin's sure these are loan sharks. The real Seo Dojin borrowed money from before he left this world for good. Though it was supposed to be just 5 million won originally for his grandma's hospital bills, these guys are charging crazy interest to demand 10 times the original amount in no time. They know he's been making money through gates lately, so they want him to cough up the cash since it's all documented in the contract. But the only repayment these bastards get is a jaw-busting punch right in the big guy's face. That single punch sends the poor thug flying, leaving his partner with his jaw hanging in disbelief. Our guy then gives the scrawny bastard a deadly stare to remind him that over 9 million won has already been repaid. So if you do the math, these bastards should be paying him interest. With another punch that makes the bastard cry like a bitch, Dojin tells him to tell his boss that Dojin's coming to pay a visit. The scene then cuts to the shopping mall, bustling with life. There, we see sweet little Eunyoung lighting up a kid in a teddy bear store. Dojin brought her here for a shopping spree. Today she's free to get anything she wants. You know, our boy wasn't always that soft-hearted Pookie in his previous life. It's the original Dojun's memories that revitalized his dry emotions. It makes his heart warm up to see how kindly Dojin treats Eunyoung, even though she's only his half-sister. So he wants to keep doing the same, and make sure to give all the love he can muster for this little girl. The little girl finally chooses a stuffed toy she really wants. It's a small but cute bunny. She picks it modestly, making sure she's not being extravagant. But Dojin picks a way bigger stuffed toy for her. He doesn't want her to hold back at all. It's her day, and she can pick whatever her heart desires without thinking twice about money. They both treat themselves to some good food too. As they enjoy their meals, an unfamiliar voice calls out our boy's name. It's a middle-aged woman followed by a bunch of bodyguards. This chubby MILF seems like yet another trash talker who loves to hate on our boy. First, she points out his lousy sense of dressing. Then she questions the girl sitting next to him. She's bold enough to throw a jab, saying he must have knocked someone up and had this girl, just like how his mother brought him to this world. Of course, these sharp jabs infuriate our boy beyond anything. Meanwhile, the little girl has no clue who this lady is or why she's trash-talking so casually. This MILF then promptly turns her attention to the girl and asks her name. The girl introduces herself as Lee Eunyoung, which makes this trash MILF realize she's Dojin's sister. Out of habit, the woman throws a jab at her clothes too, calling her a mess. This bitch isn't sparing her deceased mother either, and all of this is just getting on our boy's nerves real bad. But for some reason, he's holding it all in, not trying to get aggressive with her provocations. Even this MILF is pretty astonished at how Dojin is keeping his composure, not falling for her traps. So this bitch decides to go one step further. This fat piece of work is bold enough to ask a child the meaning of harlot. Well, that's the last straw. Dojin snaps and calls her an ugly woman who belongs to a tribe of orcs. Of course, the woman is left wide-eyed and mind blank after getting caught off guard. Let's have a little context to understand why Dojin has been tolerating this woman only so much. You see, Dojin was born an illegitimate child and lived in poverty. At the tender age of 7, his mother died, and he barely made it to his father's house. With his father marrying a new woman, he was shunned by everyone. It only got worse after his father's legitimate wife gave birth to a son, and Dojin was ignored completely. Things got so bad that he got kicked out of the very house he lived in. So he lived with his half-sibling at his grandmother's house. As our boy reflects back, he feels pity for the original Dojin who had to endure all this and still tried to keep a smile on his face like he had no pain in his life. But now he wants to change everything. Seems like this woman is his stepsister, which explains why he was trying to hold himself back. But he won't tolerate her no more. He recalls how he shared a roof with this orc of a woman, and she's just as disgusting as ever. Not only is her personality messed up and her appearance orc-like, she's also dumb as hell. He further crushes her spirit by dropping brutal bombs on how she's a wreck with an inferiority complex. That's the only reason she projects her insecurities onto others by calling them ugly. She's just a gold digger obsessed with others, and that's the real truth the world should know. As he continues to crush her under his sharp jabs, the entire shopping mall watches them like they're the center of attention. The orc lady is totally annoyed and about to lose it, but then Dojin's stepmother walks in. Seeing her mom, the orc lady approaches her like the whiny bitch she is, complaining how this kid just shut her down with words. But this mother is aggravated to see her daughter whining like that and shuts her up with a cold glare. Not gonna lie, bro's got one heck of a stepmom. At first, I even thought the orc lady was his stepmom. The hot mama turns her attention to our boy and greets him with utmost grace. She's inviting him to come back home and hang out for some fun. But Dojin knows all too well that this facade his stepmom is putting up is fake. After all, she's the one who caused the most misery and unrest in the 12 years he lived with them. The woman continues reminding Dojin of things he never wants to remember, triggering his PTSD and making him go full serious mode. With a tone colder than your mother's jokes, our guy tells this bitch to get the fuck lost. That's a major slap to her dignity, being shit-talked by someone younger than her. She just twirls around and leaves with the last bit of dignity she has left. For real though, she wasn't expecting him to clap back so sharply. She's left wondering if he's the same guy who would just lower his head even when she slapped him for no reason. Her bitch of a daughter follows along, with their bodyguards also following the both ladies. Honestly, these guards played the perfect role of mannequins in this ordeal. Let's shift our attention to our boy. Seems like these two girls totally ruined the time our duo was having. So our boy decides to be on his way too. The way he reacted to his stepfamily was intentional. He wanted to make one thing clear. The Seo Dojin who couldn't even speak up for himself is gone. It's high time his trash family realizes that. We then cut to a Mercedes zooming down the road. Inside the car, we see both the trash mother and daughter. The daughter is pissed at her mom for just walking out quietly instead of putting Dojin in his place. As she vents her frustration and curses our boy for the humiliation they suffered, the mother orders her manager to answer why Dojin is still alive. Well, Baldy has no clue how this dude is alive. It doesn't match the reports. The woman blares at the top of her lungs about the bullshit this man is spouting. How the heck could he be alive if they made sure the job was done and clear? The poor guy assures her he'll look into the matter again and make sure this time the job is executed properly. Meanwhile, the trash daughter has no clue what her shady mother has been plotting all along. She's rattled hearing talk about killing and dying. Eventually, the mom poses a question to her daughter, wondering if she has feelings for Dojin. This catches the fat pig off guard, making her blush and flustered. Actually, she's worried about Dojin dying because if grandpa or dad find out, they're gonna be in serious trouble. The mother grabs her daughter by the mouth hard enough and drills her to stay the hell away from her business. The mother is dead set on claiming Dojin's life, with no plan to spare him, especially not after how he dared to talk back to her. Getting rid of him is the best revenge she can think of. A decade ago, the world took a turn to chaos with the appearance of the Rift. This terrifying dimension gave birth to monsters, spawning from the portal, armed with the objective of slaughtering humans upon sight. Their terror didn't stop. It was ceaseless, and eventually demolished the world, scarring it with destroyed cities engulfed in flames. However, just like the appearance of the dark forces, there came the emergence of the light in the form of valiant warriors called the heroes. With their emergence, the first discovery of mana stones was made from the dead bodies of the defeated monsters. Back to the present. Dojin's going somewhere, reflecting how mana stones quickly shifted the world's dependence from traditional energy sources. Because of their key role, countries decided to center their attention towards the emerging rifts, basically claiming priority over them so they could extract resources. With the current state of the world in motion, all of its industrialization is completely reliant on the concept of gates and the dependence of heroes. And because of that, the profession that can be classified as a hero reaps high rewards. A consistent high salary can only be achieved via becoming a proper hero. Dojin's arrived at his destination, and it's actually the Yongdongpo HCS capital establishment. I know that's a mouthful, but you guys will see why he's come here soon. He finds himself entering the building, and upon first glance, the boss and his clowns look like your average run-of-the-mill thugs who want to scare people with their ugly faces. But Dojin is pretty chill about the situation. The boss puts out his cigarette and points out our boy's audacity to not only beat the crap out of his goons, but also to show his face at the door. It really shows that Dojin really doesn't give a flying fudge about anyone. He cleverly tells the organization's owner that, in reality, it's actually Dojin himself who found himself at a real loss. That statement is ridiculous from the point of the view of the boss, so he seeks clarification on what our guy means. Dojin clarifies that actually, he's come here to receive his well-deserved compensation. After all, he's endured mental, physical, and materialistic losses all this time because of the existence of these clowns. With his strong and serious words, the boss has noticed one significant change from the boy's personality. Something about the kid has changed. He's no longer the soft-spoken spirit or the gentle person he was. Then there's the added evidence that this same kid destroyed the lackeys he sent to his door. All things considered, the boss's leading suspicion is that Seo Dojin must have experienced a unique kind of awakening throughout his experiences in the gate. Despite knowing this, Dude still decides to act arrogant and tells Dojin that his newfound confidence because of his awakening will become his own undoing. The hypocrite calls our boy for being overconfident in his abilities, and to back up his claims, he brings over a bunch of grumpy men to intimidate him. Of course, he can pack all the muscle he needs, but to the experience of the sword god, they're practically insects in comparison. The boss is talking out of his ass and states that even those awakened people end up getting killed like dead weight and low-class heroes in the end. The funniest part? Bro is under the assumption that Seo Dojin is nothing beyond the level of a D-class hero, and that his organization can easily stomp on someone as weak as that. Meanwhile, Dojin is just chilling on the sofa in the background while 5 guys are staring him down. Without showing even a hint of amusement, he orders the boss to sit the heck back down. The boss is astonished to hear him continue to speak in his previous tone, while Dojin emphasizes with a serious face that he's not done talking. Hearing him say something like that, one of the guys decides to get his balls tripped up and challenges Dojin. Amusingly enough, our boy happily takes off his glasses, adding more to his confusion. And then he hammers a Mike Tyson ballistic universal machine gun rocket punch 9000 in his damn face. The dude is sent flying from the impact while his friends are at a loss for words. But that's not all, because the beating is shared among the group as Dojin knocks down another one. Keep in mind that while he's beating their asses, he's calmly making his points too, sharing his knowledge of the boss's secret shady business underneath the cover of a money-lending business. Dojin aims to punch down an orange-haired punk and proves his knowledge of the counterfeit identification business he pulls. Having landed his punch, he tells the boss that he's in search of a hero identity to officially register as one and make money. Ducking the strike of the final guy, Dojin returns the blow with triple the love. And that's how he made the entire group sleep with his special sleeping routine. Works 100% of the time. Dojin continues his demands, stating that he's in need of a foolproof identification that doesn't cause any trouble for him in the future. The boss is left starstruck by what happened in the span of a few seconds. Our boy reminds him that he's only got one day to forge the identity for him. Some of the men didn't intervene in the fight, by the way, which is a compliment to the NPCs because they're the type to challenge God while being a level 1 rookie in most stories. The boss is out here tripping for life as he begins to question and assess Dojin's skill level. At the least, this guy appears to be B-class in strength. Bro is so lost in his thoughts that he has to be reminded by the kid to snap out of it. He happily accepts the job too. Finally, Dojin grabs his shoulder politely and contrasts it with an intimidating expression on his face. He wants to know if Hong Hee-ju, his stepmother, ordered a hit on him. Of course, this is actually pretty much the case, evidenced by the conversation she had with her daughter and assistant earlier. The boss is at a loss for words until Dojin forces his grip so hard that the guy yelps in pain. Even his scrubs are looking helpless for their boss. I have to say they should really change their barbers too. Anyway, the boss breaks down and reveals her heinous strategy. This cruel scheming woman actually wanted to suck the life out of Dojin's bank account, forcing him to so much financial instability that he doesn't have any other way but to take his own life to escape from it. Now that is a definition of an evil fucking plan, especially towards your son, even if cast away. Those were her orders. Dojin hears this, and after enough of his begging and crying, he lets the man free, questioning if that's also one of the reasons they locked him inside the gate. The boss turns into an innocent little guy who had nothing to do with that incident, even going as far as to reveal that he wouldn't get paid for the execution if he died inside the gate. That's probably one plausible reason why he couldn't have done something like that, and it already has Dojin thinking. He utters the words Kang Cholwoo, which is actually the name of the guy who brought him to the gate in the first place. Effectively, Dojin wants to know every last piece of information of the guy until tomorrow. With his 2 demands stated, he leaves politely, completely changing the atmosphere of the room from which he first entered. After that conversation, Dojin is left with a deep contemplative state again. The real Seo Dojin only had one desire. He wanted to protect his little sister and his beloved grandmother no matter what. On top of everything that happened, it just adds another layer of misery and shows the kind of life the poor kid had to endure while being helpless. But not to worry, because the sword god is ready to do what he must in order to set the record straight. The following day, guess what? Our boy's officially registered. And he's also got a B rank rating, which is convenient. Unlike all the other stories where the main character just has to be at the lowest possible rank for style points. Tapping the card on the machine, he proves the card's legitimacy because it recognizes his identity into the system. However, it warns him that the rank is still lower than the dangerous quest he's about to take. This is actually pretty annoying to our boy, who thinks that maybe he should have peeved the bastard to assign him a higher rank so that he couldn't run into these problems. Despite the system's repetitive warnings not to enter the gate far above his level, Dojin doesn't give a damn and goes anyway. Let's talk about the specifics of the Night Island gate. It's actually just a B-rank gate, but the logic doesn't mean a B-rank hunter can survive it. Heroes are always recommended a class higher than the gate rank for mission safety. Anyway, the scale of the dungeon is considered rank D, which means it's spread out and will be difficult for solo hunting. The good thing, however, is that it's in the form of tunnels, which means to some capacity, solo hunting won't be that hard for him this time. Because of the gate's scale, it is highly recommended that an A-rank hero take on the task. But the words risk and danger don't exist in our boy's dictionary. If anything, the worst that could happen is that he'll have to face off against an entire fleet of monsters in a narrow tunnel with little to no room. Dojin smiles at his first opponent, which is a giant serpent with a chaotic purple aura. For most heroes, this would be a sign of terror, but for him this is a sign of good luck, as he prepares his gauntlets to get the battle started. Oh, and by the way, the serpent has a bunch of its friends too, and their tongues remind me of the Alien movie. Anyway, they do their best to attack, but it's pointless because our boy is such a killing machine that he snatches and collects the mana stones like the monsters never even existed. The Black Killing Viper is a class of monster that is known for its hyperactive paralysis poison that can knock anyone down even with the slightest contact. With that in consideration, Dojin charges to propel himself at bullet speed and launches full swing. In a short span of time, he's about to slice and dice the creature all over its body, splashing blood until he severs the monster in half. With the creature defeated, Dojin notices his equipment. The gloves he purchased are ensuring the poison doesn't get in contact with him, and for the price of 300,000 won, they're holding their ground. Returning to the hunting session, Dojin turns his attention to 4 more of these ugly limbless lizards and begins blasting right through their heads with his powerful speed. More and more blood splashes out until the vipers are sent to the afterlife. Dojin stands there, busy searching for a bunch of magic stones by clawing from the monster's flesh. To his disappointment, there isn't any magic stone around. But this is according to the rules of the previous or the original world, and in that, these monsters only have a drop rate of 3% for mana stones. This means that he's got to hunt down at least hundreds of them for